Hey Geeks, Mod 10 here with this morning's episode of Star Trek. It is Season 2, Episode 6, The Doomsday Machine. I feel like this is a well-known episode, and I feel like people really like this episode, but for me, it just didn't do it. Like, the title, Doomsday Machine, I feel like I've heard a lot associated with Star Trek. Basically, I don't know, maybe I'm just tired and I'm not feeling it right now, but basically Kirk and the crew come across the Constellation, which is another Constitution class, and even that alone, like, I forgot what episode it is, I'm sorry, but Kirk mentioned that there's like 12 ships in Starfleet, and this is another Constitution class, and I understand it's the 60s. I understand there's not a lot of budget for like special effects and stuff like that. This is clearly just a model of the Enterprise that they kind of messed up a little bit. They took Enterprise off, put the Constellation on there, and the Enterprise number, as most of you know, is 1701, and this is 1017. So they just kind of mixed up the numbers. Like, I feel like they didn't try very hard with this episode. That being said, they find the Constellation. The entire crew's gone except for Commodore Decker, Commodore Decker. And he's the only one on board, and he says that his entire crew, I don't know how, but his entire crew was on the planet, and the planet got eaten by, like, Galactus, basically. And it's the Doomsday Machine, and it's just this giant fucking machine that eats planets. And then Kirk is on the Constellation, and Decker is on the Enterprise, and Decker like seizes control and is trying to kill this machine while Kirk is like on his way to being destroyed. And then eventually Spock takes control, and it's 50 minutes of boredom for me. Like, we get this whole episode could have been condensed really easily. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just not feeling this episode. And then in the end, Decker, they end up switching spots. So then Decker sacrifices himself and dies, and Kirk is back on the Enterprise and wins, and that's it. That's the end. I don't know. Like, I just don't get it. It's a really slow episode. It's really boring. The only things that I kind of noticed were the red shirt. I don't know what his ranking is, but the random employee of the Enterprise that is supposed to take Decker to sickbay was named Montgomery, and that's all Spock says is, Montgomery, take him to sickbay. Which I guess that could have been his last name, which I didn't think about until just this moment. But that's also Scott. Scotty's first name is Montgomery Scott, which I don't think we've heard Scott's name yet. I think he's always just been Scotty. So I think that's kind of interesting that we've heard that. And then otherwise, I don't know if it's official canon or just one of those like fan fiction, unofficially type things. Commodore Decker is supposedly William Decker's father from the motion picture, which we will get to later, and I'll probably bring this episode up then as well. But supposedly that's just a little family interaction that we'll hear about later on. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel this episode. I thought it was really boring. The pacing was slow. I mean, it had great acting. Don't get me wrong. The acting was like perfect. I just felt like the story just was really, really slow for me. So tomorrow's episode, or later tonight's episode, is Wolf in the Fold. That being said, this episode, have you guys seen it? Am I wrong? Like, is this episode boring, or is it just me? Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow.